So I've seen this more and more throughout the year well, when it comes to like Star Wars or Marvel, that they're seeing a decreased drop in sales. Well, someone's gonna say that, well, Captain Marvel made X amount of money. No, Disney just was proven to have lied about their box office records because most people, when they went to go see Captain Marvel, they reported empty seats. Usually, when you go to a movie, you're gonna see like one or two people in a theater, or maybe a group of people. But in most cases, when it came to Captain Marvel, after the first opening weekend, they people said that there was only like one person in the theater, and that was me. So what does this tell me? I feel that maybe, just maybe we're getting a little tired of SJW bullshit. Maybe we're getting too tired of political correctness because most of the movies that are coming out these days are politically correct in some form or fashion. Like either there's a push for multiculturalism or some type of gun law, something like that. Just any type of political agenda you could think of, they're usually in a movie somewhere. I remember a time when movies, for the most part, didn't really have a political agenda. They made a movie that was more neutral, so when you went to watch the movie, you went in with an open mind. Now movies these days, they're looking for to cause controversy. And I guess they do that for the revenue because now the age of the internet, which is what this is, the age of the internet where social media is becoming a thing, where controversy, ironically, it causes more revenue for that product. You could look up every single YouTuber on the platform, and I guarantee you about 90% of them are famous because at one point or another they started a controversy that got their channel noticed. And that's the sad part, is YouTube rewards people with bad behavior. And that's sad. But there's nothing you can do about it. It's not an unfair world. It never was an unfair world. So what does this have to do with movies? Well, everything with Star Wars, especially in The Last Jedi, was politically correct. Um, on top of that, why couldn't they make a movie that was structurally, storily sound? They couldn't make The Last Jedi any more unrelevant as to the prequels. What do I mean by that? Well, at least in the prequels, whether you liked them or not, at least they hold up the lore of the Jedi. In this particular case, they just didn't give a shit about the Jedi, which starts the controversy. They just didn't give a flying fuck about George Lucas's lore. Granted, you probably didn't like the prequels. You probably didn't even like the originals. There are new people coming to new franchises every year, and so what most movies tend to do, they try to get movies to appease the general audience. If you don't know what the general audience is, the general audience is the person that doesn't read the book, they don't know anything about the sequel, they are just going into the movie with open mind. Most directors, they like to treat the movie that this is the first time you're watching it, and so we're going to try to feed you as much information as possible. Of course, Marvel movies, this is out of the question when it comes to Marvel movies, because you have to literally watch a certain amount of movies and certain movies to understand the story of other movies. But in the case of Star Wars, like, at least in the prequels and at least in the originals, that they did somewhat try to explain to you what was going on. Now, Star Wars is set in a fantasy universe, obviously, where people have the Force and they have these high-speed, light-speed spaceships, right? So, of course, it's not going to be realistic. You go see Star Wars, you know it's not going to be realistic whatsoever. So, there's that. But the fact that they basically shat on everything about the Jedi lore, that itself caused controversy. And all the original Star Wars fans, that we were fans of the franchise for years, this is why it's relevant. We were fans of Star Wars for years, but as soon as you say fuck you to the lore, people stop caring. And so now, Disney is seeing a drop in sales for Star Wars. And I do believe that they were actually struggling for Captain Marvel because of the controversy that was picked up. On top of that, the entire reveal of Rey's parentage was so anticlimactic. Like, When I went to go see The Last Jedi, as soon as Kylo Ren opened his mouth and said, "Oh, I saw who your parents were. There's something drinking money. They sold you for drinking money." As soon as I heard that line, I knew in the back of my head, like, I already feel the tweets. I can hear the tweets of people going, "No, fuck that, blah, blah, blah." Now, the thing is, you didn't have to like The Last Jedi. You didn't have to like any movies that I like. I don't care about that. But when you take the lore of a franchise and shit on it, and when you take something so anticlimactic like Rey's parentage, and why is Rey's parentage so relevant? Because for the most part, from the originals to the prequels, Star Wars has mainly been about the Skywalkers. Well, one could argue that Kylo Ren is a Skywalker, which is true, but he's also a Solo. And I don't know, this was a big missed opportunity that Rey could have easily just been a Skywalker, and that could have been her cousin, but I guess they're going with a love story triangle. But with all this SJW bullcrap, like, if you watch The Last Jedi is littered with political correctness. Like, it just is. Like, I don't want to point certain things out because I know people will be offended, because on the age of the internet, people are always going to get offended no matter what. You know, I have no idea why they casted the Asian actress. Like, I have no idea. I have nothing against Asian people, but I just felt like she didn't need to be there. Everything about Finn was so boring. Like, I wanted to see more with Luke and Rey, and that's what most of the fans wanted. But they basically fed you a teaspoon of that, and like, let's go focus on something else. The movie is littered, literally, with political correctness, and even there's a big slap in the face with feminism in the movie where the female commanders for the Rebel Alliance, I forgot the characters' names already, they're basically treating Poe like an idiot. And they're Poe's like, "Oh, what's the plan? What are we going to do? They're coming. Are we going to do nothing about it?" And the entire time, these fuckers, I'm going to call them fuckers because they're fuckers, are acting like, "Oh, he what a stupid man." That's basically what I got from it. They treat him like he's an idiot when the entire conflict in the Rebel Alliance, the entire chain of command conflict, could have been resolved if they all just sat down and were like, "Hey guys, this is what our plan is, blah, 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 blah." But no. Like I said, The Last Jedi is just littered with political correctness. And so is Captain Marvel. And I'm also hearing, not just in Marvel movies, but in Star Wars movies, that people are walking out of theaters in droves. Like, I'm hearing this more and more. Like, after about a week or two of Captain Marvel being in theaters, nobody went to really go see it again. Most of the theaters were empty, right? And you can go online, you can look this up, this is a fact. And now, The Last Jedi faced so much criticism, not just for its story, but for its political correctness, which didn't really need to be there. Literally, you can go back and watch the original Star Wars movies and the prequels, and like, then you watch the new Star Wars movies. There is a big difference in the way they tell their story, and I know there are different directors, but I'm not talking about directing aspect. I'm talking more political correctness. You go back and watch the original Star Wars, there's almost no political correctness. You go back and watch the prequels, there's almost no political correctness. And now we have a director saying, "I do not ever see myself casting a white person in the future." Now, the thing is, if a white guy said this, if a white director said this, he would get hung. He would get hung publicly. His life would be over. You know, and also I really don't care about Peele saying that. Like, I really don't care. It doesn't affect me that much. But my point is, if any other person of any other race has said that, their life would be destroyed, and you know it. Reverse racism is a thing. Political correctness is a thing. Feminism is a thing. And like, you know, I have nothing against multiculturalism. I believe multiculturalism will bring people together to make them stronger. It's true, like, a group of diverse people in a survival situation actually has a better chance of survival. You can look this up. This is a fact. But does it have to be constantly shoved in our face? Granted, you know, at least 60% of America is white. You know, that's how it's always, well, no, I mean, I can't say that's how it's always been, you know, because of our history, but still, that's how it's always been recently in modern times, right? Now, the thing is, I actually do not give a shit if 80% of America was black. I really wouldn't give a shit. Like, that wouldn't really bother me as long as everyone likes our Constitution, as long as everyone's for gun rights, as long as we're trying to make a better country. I'm all game for whatever race in our country. But if you really think about it, reverse racism does exist. And this political agenda that all these movies are having is bullshit. Just think about it. When Peele said, I don't see myself casting a white person in the future. I've seen that movie. I can respect that statement. But if we're okay with that, you also have to be okay with a white director saying that in the future. So how is this relevant? Because I'm just hearing more and more that people are just not showing up to movies anymore. You know, and I thought it was going to be because of these whole school shootings, theater shootings, and all that. But no, people are literally stopped going to movies because they're just tired of political correctness. I don't give a shit what your message is in the movie. I don't give a shit if you have a whole cast of black actors. I don't give a shit. I actually liked Black Panther. I don't give a shit about that. But why the controversy? Like, you can literally go on Facebook, the first thing you see is controversy because controversy sells. But at the same time, if you look at The Last Jedi, their sales are dropping. And that is mind-boggling because Star Wars is one of the most successful movie franchises of all time. It is. It's always been. Every single movie has made so much fucking money. They are on par with Star Trek. They're actually, Star Wars fandom is way bigger than Star Trek. I'm not going to lie about that. I know that is a fact. And I can already hear the Trekkies like going, fuck you on their keyboard, right? But how can you take a movie, one of the most successful movie franchises of all time, and fuck it up this much? I heard rumors of whatever that Asian girl's name is. I don't know her name in real life. I don't know her character. I don't remember her character's name. But I heard rumors that when Toys R Us was shutting down, right when Toys R Us shut down, there was an entire aisle, an entire store of her character action figure just piled up everywhere because no one went to go buy that figure, right? So I guess this should be a sign that, hey, this political agenda thing is not working. People are not going to your movies. People are not buying your tickets. People are going to care less about going to see your movie. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be a flop. Or is it? Yeah, 9. Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be a flop, right? Yeah, I forgot which movie was going to come out. I'm not saying that at all because it is one of the most successful movie franchises. But I am saying that they are going to lose a lot of money based on the actions of The Last Jedi. Based on the storytelling of The Last Jedi. Because of this political correctness. Because of this reverse racism that we have. Because of this feminist agenda. And, you know, it wouldn't be so bad. It really wouldn't be so bad. And honestly, like I said, I really don't care about it as much as you may think, as I may sound. But what I am saying is I do see the general problem. And I do see why people are being so divisive and being so defensive and like not wanting to go out and see movies anymore. And the thing is, you know what? I personally feel for some reason that companies like Disney don't care. They just don't care because in the end, we know we're going to make our money back tenfold. So we don't care if we lose X amount of money in the process. I just get this feeling they don't care. But it's whatever. So, anyways, guys, that's just my 2 cents. You know, I think people are getting tired of political correctness. I think this reverse racism is bullshit. And yes, reverse racism does exist. Does it affect me that much? Not really. Does it piss me off that much? Not really. Does it bother me that much? Not really. I have to say those things because people are going to be bashing on their keyboards like I'm some type of racist or bigot or sexist, whatever. I don't care if people are feminists. If they want to be feminists, that's fine. If they want to make a movie about a strong female character, I'm fine with that. I loved Wonder Woman. I thought Wonder Woman had a strong female character. And granted, I did like the character of Rey in Episode 7, but, when people were calling her Mary Sue, I was like, I see where they're coming from, but I still like this character because I thought she was a Skywalker, and I thought they were going to explain her abilities more. But no, when The Last Jedi came out, she was just a straight up Mary Sue. And the entire Rebel Alliance was full of feminists, and they just treated men like dirt. Like I said, I don't really care if you're a feminist. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I can support strong women. What I can't support is that you constantly shove it in my face. That makes me not want to see your movie. Like I said, do I care that much about it? No, but I do see a problem with it, and I do see why people are being reluctant to go out and watch a movie. I could keep going, but you're probably tired of hearing me ranting, so I'm gonna stop this for now. So anyways, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel. If you don't like what I had to say, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna change my opinion. That's just my opinion. Am I a racist? No. Am I a bigot? No. Am I a sexist? No. I'm just stating what I'm seeing right now. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.